are now rocking with DJ Oz, Ozzy.
They don't know I do it for the culture, oh man. They don't know I do it for the culture, oh man. I should watch the stuff I post, come on man. I should watch the stuff I post, come on man. I should watch the stuff I post, come on man. I should watch the stuff I post, come on man. All the rumors are true, yeah. What you heard, that's true, yeah. Him and you, yeah. If you believe I do, all the rumors are true, yeah. What you heard, that's true, yeah. Him and you, yeah. If you believe I do,
Yeah.
What up, motherfuckers?
What up, motherfuckers? Yeah. The champ is here. The champ is here.
Not today.
Not ever. So, yeah, no, we're going to talk about that fight. That's what the stream is about. We're going to talk about that fight. No, just kidding. I'm not going to talk about that fake
What was the
shit.
goddamn fight? That was Dancing with the Stars.
Fake ass fight.
what?
Oh, actually, this one's fitting for that.
We have to sit out here and wait a long periodically time.
We
Fight my ass.
well, we waited legit 3-4 hours, and the main event was just
Not the main event.
no. That should have been the first match, and just let the rest of the people. The main event was the women. That shit was bloody.
Hey, that last one, that was
enjoyed
a
that.
fake ass fight, fake ass fighters, fake ass everything.
Everything. Fake ass.
Yeah, fake ass Mike Tyson ass, cheeks hanging out, looking like you wearing assless chaps and shit. Come on, Mike, get your shit together, bruh. But
Spinal.
oh, that's still my favorite. Back in the 90s, I think, 90s, they did that. I can't remember who he fought. And at the end of the fight, doing the interview, he was like, Mike, we heard reports that you were hurt coming into the fight. Yeah, I broke my back. He was like, Mike, what do you mean you broke your back? Spinal. Got it. Got it. Cool story, bruh. And what and he said, what do you mean spinal? He was like, Assalamu alaikum. Because that's when he went Muslim. That shit was
Right.
still one of my favorite Mike Tyson moments.
Good Lord.
Spinal. But
And the good one was when they were talking about him biting on his glove. I have a biting fixation.
I'll bite your ear off.
Yeah, we know.
Well, what do you tell Lennox Lewis? I'll eat your kids. I'll eat your kid. He sure does. Biting Holyfield's ear, talking about eating Lennox's kids. Goddamn, chewing gloves.
He was on something.
Well, what's up, everybody in the chat? We'll kind of give everybody a few minutes to join us. I know there's a few people on the Facebooks, the social medias that said that they were going to come hang out. So we'll give everybody a few minutes here. So what's up, motherfuckers?
Good to see y'all.
If you're a regular, you already know the deal. If it's your first time, we have a laugh track, but we don't do laugh tracks. We do drink tracks. Cheers, motherfuckers.
Get fucked up. Get fucked up. Get fucked up.
And you know your girl's on one when she asks her man to make her a drink. I think this is like the first time in a long ass while that I actually have an alcoholic beverage.
Alcohol. Me too. I haven't had one in a long time.
Like what?
A couple hours. So what had happened was, so I'll kind of give a little intro on how and why we're going to cover this
can I do it?
particular. Well,
Well, fair.
yes, I
That's fair.
want you to talk about it.
Yes.
But there's a reason we're doing it on a Sunday, because normally we do these on Mondays when we do the teacup. What had happened was, and like I'm the type, like when I watch something the first time, I think most of us are like this, but you're gonna get the organic, response at it, especially my personality profile, my personality style. The second time I watch something, like you're not gonna get the same shit out of me, right? You're not gonna get, even if it's still powerful, it's still meaningful. Because now I'm listening for other things. I'm not getting those initial punches, right? So we sat down to watch this together tonight, and I think we got maybe 5 minutes in.
Maybe at best, like 5 minutes into the good shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once they got through their intro, this is what we're doing, this is what it's about, which Jenna will tell you here in a second. But so she turns it on. We start watching. I was like, babe, why are we not doing this on our YouTube channel? This shit is. First of all, it's a badass documentary. I said, but already we're not even streaming, and we're pausing and commenting. So that's why we're live tonight, talking about it. So I just wanted to kind of share why we're doing it on a Sunday. But other than that, Jenna found it, and go ahead, babe. You do the explaining.
So randomly, because I was just going through my whole rabbit hole of scrolling through Facebook, and I'm, as many of you are, I'm sure, as us atheists are gathered tonight. I'm a part of certain groups and stuff that I hear and there interact, but not really. But long story short, I was scrolling through, unrelated to this, I found like a short 3-4 minute clip about this white woman, and all I see, and this is the best impression that any black woman sitting in my spot would be like, you just scroll through and all you see is this older white woman with over her head titled, "Dear Black Women." And then you think to yourself, oh yeah, that's going to be great. Let's see. She has something great to say. Automatically, I was just like, this white bitch right here.
Do you have the link for that?
Oh, I do. You want to share that now or share that later?
You want to send it to me? Because that's something quick we could share, because that's not very long.
As I look for this, I'll explain. So I showed it to Oz. And a part of it is this guy that commentaries on it. And he just goes in on her, but it's like education. It's good. Like he does a solid point by point. Like it's great. So I had to show it to Oz, and then we were sitting out here in our studio. I happened to be just going through stuff, and I was first looking for the actual raw footage of that whole Dear White Woman clip without the guy. Then I just happened to stumble upon this documentary that came out in 2022. Couple of years back, called Deconstructing Karen on YouTube. And at first it was just a clip off of like a Dr. Phil episode. And then I was like, wait a minute, this is the actual documentary. So I looked it up and I was like, oh shit, babe. And I told him I was listening to something and I'm like, can we watch this together? And that's how we got here basically. And at first I was like, yeah, but let's just watch it so we know our points. But after we had just got really into it, like he was saying, it was just, I was like, no, this has to be organic. Like
Game time.
It's powerful off the bat. Y'all know when we start, but it's good. It's good.
It's good.
It's good. I'm trying to find it right now. Hold on. Because I know I saved it.
You're good.
I think this one's it.
But while she found out, what's up, everybody? Again, hope you had a good weekend. And
happy Sunday.
Sunday fun day.
Sunday fun day. Here it is, babe. I'm sending it right now.
Okay.
So this one's about like a little 4-minute clip of how this all initiated. So we're gonna show this one first, and then go into the actual documentary.
Let me break this out.
And I will preface, like I'm still also because I just started a new job, so I'm kind of getting my own new job schedule in order and trying to also on the off side find out good solid days for me to start recording content and live streaming. So this is also a part of that kind of like shit I want to talk about type deal. It's good. It's good.
All right. Without further ado, well, take a drink before you leave because this Karen's off her goddamn rocker.
Two, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. Get fucked up, 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 get fucked up.
I have 2% Nigerian. I did a video yesterday addressing specifically Black women.
Why'd you do that?
I just wanted to see how long my video would last before being taken down.
So you knew.
A woman, we have blazed these trails together.
I'm gonna stop you right there. You didn't, okay? The trail of a Black woman and a white woman aren't even on the same path. As a matter of fact, I'd have to argue that the Black woman's path has to avoid the white woman's path for her own safety.
We did this together. We need to stand together.
You use the term we quite a bit in this, trying to cluster all women, and that's not the case, because if it was, you'd just be saying women. You'd just be saying women. After that, you choose to start.
And I personally, I like just my skeptical mind, right? Being skeptical of everything. When you say we forged this together, we did whatever this thing might be. All right, let's whatever context, whatever issue, whatever that you want to throw out there. We forged this. I need evidence. Where were you? What were you doing? How did you help forge this
What
path?
was your part?
I need my classic old saying from when we were the atheist round table over on my channel. I need that evidence.
Start asking, blaming
Crystal.
Black women for alienating themselves or separating themselves, and I feel like you don't understand that that's a mere survival requirement, not instinct, requirement.
Why are you alienating?
Historically, white women have shown their fangs to dissuade, we'll call it. And those fangs come in many forms. Think crying to gain sympathy. Yes, they're at the park menacingly, existing again. Or even starting off videos like this.
Dear Black women, a high percentage of allies.
A high percentage of it. What does your allyship look like besides calling them out and then saying you're doing this?
Like, why are you doing this? Separation will lead nowhere.
It's so ingrained. You have blinders on like a horse and you can't even see that you're the oppressor. You're doing it right now.
And what constitutes white?
What do you mean what constitutes white? You know what constitutes as white, right? You have to know. You have to know when you check that little box on that form or you fill it out and write American, like you have to know, right?
What? Where do you draw the line? Only certain Black people? Because I have 2% Nigerian.
Oh, it's still white.
Am I allowed in? I think we all should be allowed in because we're women.
Allowed in?
Allowed in where? The Black Club? Welcome to the Black Club. Well, and I had to say this because this made me laugh, and I just barely caught this after watching this like the 4th time. She's like, I'm 2% Nigerian. And then she lowers her eyeglasses like this to show her brown ass eyes. Oh, okay. That's the 2%, the 1% in that eye and 1% in that eye because you got brown eyes. Bitch.
You don't get it, Karen.
Damn it, Becky.
Or Becky, whichever. You don't get it.
You don't get it.
I can't believe you actually not only said it, but watched it back and you were like, I'm putting this online. I know a manager hates to see you coming. What do you mean let you in? Let you into what? What part of the experience is it that you're craving?
I don't know if you noticed, but the world is still being run by men.
It's like coding every other line here with like condescending.
Women had nothing to do with slavery.
There it is. It wasn't me, guys.
Not true.
I'm one of the good ones. I've never benefited from the system designed around us. One of the reasons we struggle to fill the gap in intersectionality is the lack of social awareness. You're exhibiting this exact behavior right now.
I'm sure we were saying, hey, babe, this is pretty effed up because we're nurturing, we're loving, it's wrong.
This is why they're trying to get rid of books. You weren't going to use them even if you had them.
We're Gen X, like, we grew up together.
If you were so vehemently against it and Gen X just grew up together, why didn't you solve it then? Why are we still having the conversation now? Let me guess, you also think that that's black women's fault.
Of course.
Come on, guys, we all experience the same struggles. That's why we have things like the Crown Act. Oh, that's not a, okay.
I learned so much from the black culture because of desegregation, and I loved it. Rockin' and robbin' all day long, puffin' and puffin', and we're doing the double dutch.
You literally just showed that your view of black people is they are entertainment. That's what your awareness level is.
Oh, no.
This might be the hardest truth of any of my videos. Black people do not need white people. Hear that again. Black people do not need white people. Culturally, economically, in any fashion. White people, our culture would be gone without black people. I want you to think about that. Think about the food you eat. Think about the music you nod your head to. Think about the history of what your nation has fought for and against. What are we? Just every day more white women get access to TikTok that don't need to have it. And I'll get you a manager if you can point to Nigeria on a map.
I have 2%.
I love that dude. He broke it down great.
He said, I will get you the manager if you can point to Nigeria on the map. Oh, that dude's classic, man.
So that's how we got here.
That is how the fuck we got here.
So you could see that's exactly what I saw when I scrolled through Facebook. This is white woman in a car, dear black women. Starting out good already. All right, now for the main event. This is for one more. Whatever you fucking.
Welcome to Spin Wars. We'll talk about that later.
You definitely won, by the way.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
And that's okay.
And I concur. 100%. Real quick before we go on, babe, I've been looking here in the settings. How do I get to where when the comments or whatever pop up that it pushes the picture and everything up?
Oh, hold on. I got you. Let me do it.
I can't find it.
I know. Some of this shit kind of changed, but I got you.
Yeah, I thought I knew where the fuck it was, but I don't.
Well, I mean, I know what you're talking about. StreamYard wise, it doesn't push it, but there's a better way to have the banner appear. So I got you. Hold on.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
Yeah. Welcome to the 2% Nigerian Club.
I mean, that one's slightly better, but it's not. It won't push our images up.
Good job, Nancy.
Make it smaller.
Yeah, because I thought there was a way to. I mean, it's not a big deal. We don't have to keep waste a bunch of time looking at it. Especially my ADHD ass, I can't fucking multitask.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I'm 2% Nigerian, and then like pulls her glasses down, like looking in the camera was going to make us any more convinced that she wasn't an idiot.
I'm like, oh yeah, I see that. Yeah, I see that Nigerian in ya.
Some people, you can't fix stupid.
I'm 2% white.
You can't
Where's my privilege?
fix stupid. All right, let's have a drink. We'll jump into this. Baby, you want to share the title and everything one more time just so everybody's good to go?
Oh, shit. Sorry. I am doing great. So, yes. And I'll read the description that we posted in the thing as well. So, the title of this, like I said, it's a 2022 documentary called Deconstructing Karen. The description of it basically says, galvanized by the number of white women who voted for Donald Trump 2 women of color envision what unity looks like in the US. But instead of marching through the streets, they take a different approach. Race to Dinner was born, and this is like a type of organization that they developed some years ago, like I think it's 2018, 2019, whatever, where they actually set up not actual dinners, like they set up these small gatherings of these 2, it's a Black woman and an Indian woman, and white women at the table to have these conversations about race. And boy, I tell you, it's good. So that was born. An afternoon of whining, dining, and honest conversations about white supremacy, and unconscious biases that white women live by. Navigating everyday privileges and cultural differences, the bold intervention changes minds and opens eyes for some, while others turn away because it's too hard. Everything is on the table to eat and unpack, but there is only one rule. No crying at the dinner table.
I love that. No. Damn it.
Hold your tears, bitch. Let's go.
Damn it, Karen. Nancy, Becky, whatever the fuck your name is. No crying at the table.
Nah.
What's up, KW? We're getting ready to jump into it. Jen just kind of gave the breakdown, but real brief description. This is a 2022 documentary titled Deconstructing. Karen has to do with racism, all of the above here in the United States of Americans. All right, let's have one more drink and we'll get to the main event.
Definitely another one.
1, 2, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. Get fucked up, 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 get fucked up.
Here we go. Oh, just so everybody knows, if you go watch this on your own, which I would, even after tonight, like rewatch it on your own. Please. Take your own notes, all that. It's funny, we just had a conversation with my daughter, not to go on another tangent, but just had a really cool conversation with my daughter last night about just, having these conversations about race and culture and all that.
With the uncomfortable.
Yeah, being comfortable with the uncomfortable and how important it is to make these conversations happen, right? Yeah, let's. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. So we're starting about 7 minutes in because they do an intro that basically Jena just gave. She gave kind of the bullet points for, but it's about 7 minutes long. So we're gonna go start about 7 minutes, and here we go.
Describing an entitled white woman. The worst of the Karens use their societal privilege to oppress people of color, most commonly calling a manager, or worse, calling the cops.
There is an African-American man. I am in Central Park. He is recording me and threatening myself and my dog. Please send the cops.
Illegally selling water without a permit?
Yeah. On my property.
It's not your property. Hi, I'm asking you if this is your property.
You're accusing me of a crime, correct?
I am not a racist person.
I'm sorry, I can't help it because we react and respond to a lot of different videos. Sometimes they're funny, other times they're hard hitting, serious. But
I remember some of these Karens.
I by nature am a smart ass and love satire and that kind of shit. So weird little things just stick out to me. But Karen, don't be worrying about the black guy in the park. Worry about your dog. Your dog's out of control.
Yeah, I would argue she's practically choking the dog. She's all holding it all close to the neck. I'm like, damn.
And
you're the threat.
And he's probably recording you because he's worried about that crazy ass fucking dog getting off the leash and biting his ass. Mm-hmm. He wants evidence.
A good just sidetrack really quickly. The man that filmed that, he was actually he was like bird watching and shit. He actually got after all that, and he had a case and he won. He actually ended up getting a show off of Discovery Channel or some shit because of his bird watching.
Oh, shit.
That, yeah. I dove into it one time and I was like, oh God, that black man came out on top, got a goddamn show.
Hey, big pimping.
True story.
Hey, Mike Tyson likes birds too.
That's true.
Yes, you just made a racist comment.
You need to go home.
You don't know what a signal is? Guess what? Even in China, they have signal lights.
I hear you have a problem with these gentlemen having a barbecue here at the lake.
Why are you taking the posters down? Because all lives matter. No, she is
You're crazy.
Where is there safety? There is no safety.
I would kill him. The law says I can't kill the. La 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 la.
Wow. I do not recall that bitch. I will kill a N-word, but the law says I can't kill an N-word. Wow.
Yeah, and then and it's not freaking not all the time, but then you especially your right wing Christians that believe that God is not to. I mean, religion will creep into this, but especially that part, that demographic, that part of our community, country, whatever. Like they believe that, like, for the most part, racism has just kind of disappeared.
Yeah.
Right. That God's love is running over. Bullshit. Did you hear that?
Check together and run it over.
That's a very recent footage.
Yeah.
And she on the camera right out in public in front of everybody dropping the M-bomb.
That is scary. I've never seen that
Don't
shit.
tell me that shit. Get out of here.
I love you too. You fucking bitch. Get out of here, man. I'm gonna call 911. I'm sorry, I can't hear you either. I'm being threatened by a man in the ramble. Please send the cops immediately. Going your reservation. Nasty Mexican dog. Nasty Mexican dog. Don't blast me.
I don't care about your Facebook or your video. I play games where you get fucked to death.
The term has been criticized for being.
And I guarantee you, she should. Not a guarantee. I can't guarantee because I need evidence. If I were a betting man, I'd put money on it. She says she's a Christian. I'd put money on it.
Sexist. But what is more Karen-like behavior than being furious for being called a Karen? Either way, there is one good thing that the term has produced. For white women, it has raised awareness about the intersection of race and gender and how that plays out in the society every single day.
Race, it's an urgent issue, although it's one of those issues that, is anybody ever going to come to the same place?
I feel like I get discriminated against on a lot of different fronts. Maybe because I'm a female, maybe because I'm a blonde female, maybe because I drive a truck.
Being white in Denver and is almost harder sometimes because it's the white picket fence that we're all from and we have everything given to us, and so sometimes I feel like it's opposite.
Those, for the record, those two are my favorite. For the record, I missed that part that the last white bitch said. Being a white woman in Denver is like almost so much harder because it's like the opposite. I get discriminated against because I drive a truck. So hard.
And what would it? Nancy.
Pay attention to those two.
Nancy, Kimberly, Michelle, whatever the fucking name. Listen, Linda. Do you know? As a white blonde woman living in the suburbs, yes, with your white picket fence, trying to say that you have it worse off, that you have a greater struggle. Can I tell you what we're actually hearing? You literally just vomiting all over yourself. Like it's nonsense, right? It's just bleh, bleh. Stop it.
Oh, and also for the record, and yes, after a certain point, once we get like a few minutes in, everything is organic with us because we only watched like a few minutes and had to pause. But those are the very two that have biracial husbands and stuff, so they know the experience. So
yeah, we just started watching like an hour and a half ago when we turned it off. My ADHD ass, I don't remember it anyway, so you're still probably going to get semi-organic. But Jesus fucking Christ, white. Hey, I'll show you what you can do with your white picket fence.
Hello. Hi. Hi. I'm Syra.
Lori.
Hey, Lori. Nice to meet you.
Jackie, nice to meet you. Thank you all. Thank you for being here this evening. We want to have a conversation that we believe is very important. And one of the reasons why the United States can't really move forward is because we can never have the conversation about race.
My name is Syra Rao. Thank you all so much for coming. Like Regina said, we have...
Real quick, this is a great question, and you'll see. You're getting ready to see and hear why they've structured these dinners this way. Because at first I had the same question in mind, and then as soon as the two ladies that started this this dinner / program, whatever they or title it, I'm not sure, but I was like, oh, okay, that makes way more sense, and they are brutally honest, which I love. So
It's beautiful.
This elephant in the room that's killing us all. White supremacy and racism is bad for everyone, including white people. I think we have a window right now, and you all are the key. White women are the key. You have more power than you'll ever know. In this time and place, if you all can join us and join our sisterhood, the world changes. That's why I'm here, because it all starts with conversation. So thank you sincerely for being here, because it's not an easy conversation and you didn't have to
Thanks,
be
John.
here, you chose to be here.
Carrie Ann?
I'd love if everyone could just go around the table and briefly introduce yourselves, say a little bit about yourselves and why you're here.
I have 2 young children, and it's important for me that they grow up colorblind, right?
Hold on, what was her name?
Sarah. Oh, I gotta take notes. See, that's what you should do. Take notes.
I gotta take some notes here.
Good job,
What was her name?
Sarah.
Sarah.
And she already started on the right foot. She didn't. And I will say this, and I'll mention another one.
Well, let's get to it.
Okay. Okay. We're going to get to it. I'm pausing. I'm good.
Go.
You rolling?
Go ahead. I'm getting my notes together.
Oh, yeah. Now, I would say this. Please, if anyone knows anybody moving forward, do not reference yourself as colorblind. I'll just leave it at that for now. Do not reference yourself as colorblind.
Yeah, we'll dig. We'll dig in that. We'll dig in that.
I'm just leave it right there.
But
What's up, Jay?
You said Sharon?
Oh, God. Sarah.
I can't remember all these white bitches' names. What up, Jay? Good to see you, homie.
This conversation for you, brother. No, it's kidding. Don't mind me.
Hey, this is for the crackers, man. I'll say it.
It's for the crackers.
It's for the fucking honkies. No, it is. It's a conversation for everybody. We all have to, these conversations have to be had, whether you like them or not.
There's a reason why, and like Oz said, it's structured with just white women, but it's a start to a multifaceted everything. But yeah, anyway.
Yep. Which, like I said, the colorblind thing we'll dig into here in a minute, because there's multiple women that share that, and that's actually where Jena and I stopped watching it before we decided to go live, because it was like these are the things we need to talk about. So we'll get there.
I'm an artist and a barista, and I learned about this through Syra, through your Facebook. The reason I'm here is because I've always thought of myself as being kind of woke. And I mean, my best friend is Mexican, my partner is biracial. We have these conversations all the time. But then through following your posts and interacting on your posts, I realized I'm not doing that great. And I feel like there's a racist white man living in my brain, and it's my dad's voice.
I'm a descendant of slave traders who believes very...
Sorry, what was the last girl's name? Jesus.
Lori. I had to think about it. I dismissed it. All right, so we got Sarah, we got Lori, and this older lady right here is Holly. Good catch. I'm like kind of woke. Good catch.
And she said her partner's biracial. Is that what she said?
Yes. Which, no dig, I think, and this is why I always ganged up, well, not ganged up. I always like frowned on my mother saying, you should marry inside your race. Why? I think it's beautiful that if you're in a biracial or, a biracial relationship, like clearly we are, I think it's beautiful that you can have that opportunity on both sides to have conversations like these. Yeah.
Okay, I'm caught up. God damn it, my ADHD. All right,
Okay,
I'm caught
you
up.
got it.
I gotta take notes. I take pups to the bear. What smoke? Cut smoke. Biggie smokes from Bay. Sorry.
Very strongly in telling ugly history. It's an honor to be here, and I'm willing and wanting to get uncomfortable because I think that's what we need to do.
Thanks, Holly.
Thank you.
Absolutely right.
I'm half Mexican, half white, and my family has every shade under the sun in it. So for me, race is never.
God damn it! What was her name?
Jessica. I love this man. See, he's running the video, folks, and also is watching it, but at the same time, he's trying to take notes. Multitasking.
I can't be listening and taking notes. That's
Right.
why I dropped out of school.
I
Can't be listening and taking notes. How the fuck do you guys do that shit?
Hey, you got that GED.
Sure the fuck did.
Never really
I'll tell that story here in a little bit.
been a thing.
Hi, Hazel. Do you believe that this is such an important conversation, especially because I do have 2 children that are young, that it's on us to do better, to do more?
My kids are biracial, so my husband is Hispanic and white, and I don't see color. I don't see. So how she said, I'm blinded to color. Like it doesn't faze me at all. When we bleed red.
I'm here tonight because I'm confused. I watched my son
This is Allie.
feel victimized. He felt that because he was a white male, that he was a victim of reverse racism.
We're all human. We all have a light, a heart shining within us that needs to be seen.
I don't
We
like
all need to be a little bit better and just recognize the love in each and every one of us.
Until Michelle was a
Every single dinner, without fail, we've got like the woke wars. And so it really is this like being wedded to how not racist you are, but it's a start. It's a start, and you've got to start somewhere.
One of the things we know is that you cannot change what you don't acknowledge. So we're here to help you acknowledge some things and to try and work on changing some things.
So I've heard this a couple times already. Colorblind, and you don't see color. And I'm just going to drop the bomb here. That's white supremacy.
Babe, if you're cool with it,
Go ahead.
I'm gonna let if you're cool with it, I'm gonna let them get through their part breaking it down for them. That way we're not, for the listeners, the viewers, we're not fucking that up, and then we'll jump in. Is that okay?
Color blindness is white supremacy. You even said, I don't see the color of anyone's skin because when we cut ourselves open, we all bleed red. So you acknowledge that you see the red. How can you not see the color of our skin?
Because to me, my husband's Hispanic. I've dated every race. It doesn't. To me, I see inside. I see your love, your morals, your values. I see what we have in common. Like my husband, we enjoy doing things together. Like the different things I don't see.
Maybe like your experience in the world is different than theirs.
Yeah. You walk through the world with a different experience.
Did you see the shift in her face? Mm-hmm. Man, she did not like that.
She didn't like that.
I'm gonna roll that back a couple seconds.
Marty didn't like that.
She did not like that.
Like my husband, we enjoy doing things together. Like the different things I don't see.
Maybe like your experience in the world is different than theirs.
Yeah. You walk through the world with a different experience because you are a white woman.
What is the number one thing that white women feel the desperate need to be over and above everything else? Nice. White women feel the desperate need to be nice. It's white women's niceness that is killing us all. And so what does nice mean for white women? It means smiling. It means being polite. It means not calling out oppression when it happens. When you say you're colorblind, you erase us.
But you're not being defensive as well. I don't.
We're sharing our truth.
And I'm sharing my truth too. I mean, that to me is, to me is saying.
We need to educate ourselves so much because we have no idea.
Is that what this conversation is about? Some education?
You know, change requires pain. Most people will not change until they have what I call a significant emotional event.
And I also want to lay a couple of other things down. You've mentioned it and you've mentioned it. Being married to a black person or a brown person, having brown or black children does not make you impervious to racism. You cannot, frankly, fuck your way out of racism.
Oh. Let me ask you a question. How many of you would trade places with a black person in this society? Raise your hand.
I don't know the answer to that.
Well, it's yes or no. How many of you would do it?
I know I would.
I mean, I dated a Hispanic, very dark.
No, I'm not talking about Hispanic.
The
question is
that I was going to have children. I spent many years thinking of myself of having very dark-skinned children.
Can you pause?
The question is, how many of you would be willing to trade places
I wanted to
in
hurt
this
you, Dan.
society with a black person?
I think I would.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay.
I'm not saying there's not racism. Absolutely.
Lies. Go ahead, babe.
Shit.
Lies,
Okay.
fucking lies.
Sorry, I have a lot, but I like how, what's her fucking name? I already forgot. Sarah. She was like, I dated a really dark Mexican. I mean, he was dark. I'm like, okay, that means what? That proves that you're willing to date a really dark person. That means that equals to you being not racist. And I'm not claiming any of these women are racist. This is not what this is about. But you attributing that to say, I demonstrate my example of wokeness and not being a racist and being so with everything that black people go through because I dated a really dark person. The fuck?
Well, it's the same shit that we call it when, so I won't name names. So-and-so says, well, in high school, my best friend was a black guy. So that means I can't be No, that's not how that works, bro.
No. It's not how
Sorry,
that works.
that's not how that works.
And then the moment she said, when she told them flat out that you saying you're colorblind or you don't see color, that erases us. Marnie, that chick closest to them, that chick right there, was like, well, isn't that being defensive? How is that being defensive in the fact that I'm telling you, and literally the black woman said this, I'm telling you my truth. You saying that you don't see my color, you don't see me as a black woman erases me. Because the first thing you see when you meet a person, it's always your eyes. You see people with your eyes, right? Clearly, you see, before they even speak, you see that person. You see what they look like. Obviously, you notice what they're wearing, what colors, how long their hair is, all this. You also see their skin. You cannot say, I'm colorblind, I don't see color. Take that shit out of your vernacular right now, because that erases us. This is not a defense mechanism. You are literally being or sounding racist at the very least by saying you don't see me. Because the first thing you see about me before I even open my mouth is my skin. And that's offensive. Not defensive. It is offensive.
You good? I don't want to overtalk you.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
That's why I stopped talking.
I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
You're.
I had long dramatic pauses.
And you're obviously your insight on that's why I'm the one taking notes. Your insight.
I think at this part, this is where we stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your observation, your commentary, your life experience, obviously is where we need to learn, right? And for me, and we were talking about this when we stopped it here. One thing I'm very grateful for as a white dude in America is I grew up with not to sound hypocritical of what I just said, because it's not the case. I grew up. My godfather is a very strong, proud black man, and I'm grateful for that, because it wasn't just a relationship of or friendship of convenience or something like that. Like he is, we call him uncle, like he's family. He comes to our family events, Thanksgiving. So it wasn't one of those things where I just kind of knew him, but more importantly, he taught me a lot of lessons and gave me a lot of insight, right? And I remember one of the first I want to say deep conversations we had was about this topic, the colorblind thing. And, I remember him telling me, he said, it's not that I've not heard it before. I've heard it before. He said, but I'm afraid because you're, talking to me, I'm afraid because it seems like your generation is trying to normalize that phrase.
That's true.
Which is dangerous. Mm-hmm. He said, because as a black man in America, when I hear that or someone says that to me, what I hear them saying is, then you don't see me, the person. Mm-hmm. You don't see. I haven't got his permission, so I won't say his name. But you don't see me. And I remember him saying, he was like, as long as you're not like actually blind, like physically blind, you see me. I am a black man in America. I'm a black American. I'm a citizen, and my skin is black. Tell me you don't see that. Tells me that you don't even see me for who and what I am. So we already have a problem.
That's the first
right?
line of acknowledgement.
Yeah, it's and that's why I said I'm grateful. I'm so thankful that I had him in my life to have those and we've had a lot of those very deep and tough, difficult conversations that a lot of people are scared to have, and that's why we're doing this. But it's crazy to me when I hear that, because we do. You only hear white people say that shit. Yeah. I've never heard a person of color say, "I'm colorblind." You only hear that dumbass shit from white people. Quit saying it. If you say it, quit saying it. Yes, for people that I can see why, and again, we'll get to this part in a minute. I can see why that is offensive. Can I claim that I have that experience? Nope, and won't pretend to. But I can see why that's offensive, why that's hurtful. So I will never use that, right? So, that was the first thing that popped up. I was like, babe, we need to be talking about this online.
Not. It's just saying I don't see it.
Yeah, but you.
And one last thing is they're talking. I'm trying to take notes so I don't lose track here. But when she said, aren't you being defensive? If that was not deflection or projection, whichever, from
Marnie.
Yeah, Marnie. I don't know how you would define that.
Huge.
I don't know how you would define it. I mean, her posture, her facial expressions, everything changed, and you could tell just watching her manners, she was now on defensive, and she didn't like that.
Know how racist this country is.
Not to the degree that you do.
Oh,
To
no,
be
you
frank
will
with
never know. You know, in this country, we created the criminalization of black people. And when your skin is seen as a weapon, you're never unarmed. And that's why black boys and men and women are dying in the street with their hands up. I was born in 1950, and everything was in black and white. I am myself now almost 70, 4 generations out of slavery. And that should tell you something. I am a mother. I have 2 adult children. I have 4 grandchildren, 11 siblings, and each of them has children. So this work is so important to me. The more you think about white privilege and racism, the more you get why white people don't want to talk about it. They just want to be in denial, denial, denial. I don't think as a black person, I have the luxury of sitting around and doing nothing, because the lives of my grandchildren and my children depend on me being active in this space. We have to be in this because our life depends on it. We have one rule, and that is if you're going to...
Real quick, before they get back into the tabletop conversation, anything you wanted to say there?
No, she laid it plain.
Okay. And this goes back to the original video we showed. This is an area we can time together, because that gentleman said that this is survival. This isn't something that there's just a decision to make to to just get along, right? It's a function of survival, right? And it's unfortunately become in the States for anyone, but especially young black men, but yes, black men and women. There's a reason it's called driving while black, or walking while black, or riding a bike while black, or whatever it is. And
being black while black.
Yeah, they're just fucking with you, because you're black. And people that there's so many white people that laugh and scoff at that, but it's reality, yo. It's fucking reality. And Jen and I were talking about this. I obviously have never been pulled over for being black. Okay, I don't have that experience, but I've been there and I've watched it happen. When I'm the only white dude with 5 or 6 black guys, and I watch the way they get treated versus the way I get treated. I've seen that shit firsthand many times. I know that shit's real. So when Jen and I were talking before we went live, when I hear people scoff at that and try to pretend that shit doesn't happen every fucking day in this country, you are either being willfully ignorant or you're just fucking stupid. Mm-hmm. It's one or the other, because it happens every goddamn fucking day. And again, until we do truly have these conversations, normalize these conversations, it will continue. And it's not going to get better until we sit down like they're doing, break bread, chop it up, and let's talk about it.
Yep. Cry, leave the table, and go into the living room there. It's right there. And there's some Kleenex and whatever you need. Does anybody know why we would have that rule?
Because this is about white supremacy and not our personal feelings, right?
Mm-hmm. And when a white woman starts crying, what happens?
all the attention is to
Everybody feels bad.
Yeah. All the attention. So that's the only rule that we have.
Does anyone want to cry right now? No? Okay, all right. So I want a show of hands of everyone at this table who is racist.
These women don't play.
gotta go. Sorry, sis.
Okay, I'm gonna hold it in.
Okay. So I saw a couple people surprised that I raised my hand. When I said that I was racist, I am racist against black people. So it's institutional. Indians are institutionally racist against black people. The only person at this table that cannot be institutionally racist against anybody is who? Regina.
White supremacy is what keeps Americans from having these conversations about race. And I think it was the great Frederick Douglass who said, power cedes nothing. It never has and it never will. So what that means for us is white men are not going to give up their power. So that means we have to take it.
Deconstructing Karen is dismantling your own white supremacy. And deconstructing that for me was actually like removing the toxin from my body, where I could start acknowledging all of the poison that I'd been swallowing and believing. It's deprogramming yourself. The only way I can say this is I feel like I had to break myself and shatter into so many pieces, and I'm slowly putting myself together. It has made me have to unlearn everything.
And real quick, before she continues, babe, because we skipped the first 7 minutes, will you share with them what she said about herself? Because I think that'll make a lot more sense with what she's describing right now.
Yeah, because we cut out a lot of the intro of this documentary. Like, again, y'all rewatch this for yourselves later, really like absorb it as much as you want. But the earlier part of this documentary, she used to be a political advisor or something like that. But she talked about herself in a way of being a racist because she came, she saw herself as a darker shade of whiteness. And that's more or less how she described herself, meaning she saw herself in a dark skin, but internally she felt she was a white woman. She obviously, you could see in these old images of her, she gravitated towards white people, white culture, and justified her being as being more of a white person than she is as a Indian person. And then she also just, like she said, added the fact that, and I didn't even know this, and it makes sense, that, institutionally, Indians are racist against black people. So she relinquished herself of her dark skin by being more a part of the white culture atmosphere. And after some time, she, as she described, broke away from that and all that. So that's why you're seeing her view of why she raised her hand and describing more in depth of why she said she's racist as well. But she's also still on her own journey to rebuild and come out of that. And that's beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. And to this, I look at the trees. I agree. I think all of us agree on this. This documentary's been out for 2 years, and we're just now, seeing it or hearing about it. The same for Jen and I. Like literally, she found this tonight, and we were like, yeah, we got to chop this up. But yet, we'll let him keep going.
It is deconstructing all of the harm that has been caused to me and all the harm that I have caused. And it is painful as fuck. My parents were Indian immigrants. They'd come over after the Immigration Act of 1965, and at that time in Richmond, there were black people and there were white people, but there was really nobody who looked like me. Growing up in Richmond, Virginia, we were always taught as Indian kids to assimilate, and it was made very clear we were assimilating to white culture, not black culture. The first time I felt other was in the 4th grade, and we'll call this boy Evan. Evan asked me to go with him. I'm not really sure where we were supposed to go, but people used to go together at that time. And I was super psyched. I was the only non-white kid in my class. I couldn't believe that this was happening. He was very popular. The next day, he said, meet me in the library. And I was like, oh my God, Evan's bringing me a Rubik's Cube or Skittles or something. And we go into the library and he says to me, Syra, I'm really sorry, I can't go with you. My mom says that I can't go with black girls.
Jesus.
I remember going home, black girl, going outside to the front yard, and I found a big rock, and I just started rubbing my skin, trying to take the brown off of my skin until I bled. My mother, she came home from work that day, and I was sitting on the front stoop, and I just looked at her and I said, you did this to me. You made me look like this. My mother was a doctor at the Veterans Administration, and she wore her sari to work every day in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s in Richmond, Virginia. And sometimes she'd come home from work and talk about how some of the patients would call her the N-word or Pocky, or she smells bad and they're not gonna let someone like her, check them. And she would say, okay, well, the next time you can see a white guy, you're gonna be dead. So, bend over and I'll give you a rectal exam. And then she had to actually give these people rectal exam. Think about how humiliating that was for her.
Jeez.
I loved my mother more than I could possibly love anyone on the planet. And I said to her, please stop wearing the sari, wear normal clothes. And she just smiled and shrugged, and the next day, she put the sari right back on and went back to work. People are complicated. As much as my mom wanted us to be white, frankly, she was totally unwilling to give up herself in many respects for white cultures. Once it became very clear to me that we were not supposed to bring this up to her, I remained silent. In order to survive, be successful, I decided I was gonna do everything in my power to A, fit in, and as a result, make her proud. And make her believe that the choices that she made to leave her entire family in India behind had to be worthwhile, 100%. Racism is the elephant in every room in America, in white America. And frankly, in my experience, in the Indian American community as well, nobody wants to talk about it. My sister and I didn't talk about it. No one in my family talked about it. If you don't talk about it, maybe it'll just go away.
I think news, we could all agree, makes things worse than when we were younger in our age, right?
No, that's not true. How does the news make things worse?
Because like when I was younger, the things that were shown were not shown when I was younger.
But I feel like it's more rampant now. People have a free pass to just go and be their white supremacist self on display because there's a free pass for it, in my opinion. I mean, given our current political climate and the leader of our country.
When I was in Charleston, South Carolina last.
Sorry. And I was going to ask you to pause earlier, but I kind of got caught up in what she was trying to say. And I was like, what the fuck are you saying, Marnie? And I figured it out. But anyway, the first part I wanted to bring up is, man, I can so relate to me as a young girl, what she said about herself when she was young, about feeling just, and it's almost similar. I never physically rubbed off my skin or felt anything like that, but I never, no, I'll just say simply, I never took a rock and rubbed my skin off. But I mean, still the psychological damage is even harder, and that sticks with you a lot longer. But I remember a really quick story, to make it short. I think I was and it's crazy how young she was. Think about that. How young
It's crazy.
she was and how young I was to just be met with that at such a young age and feel like, gosh, I'm dirty. Gosh, why am I like this? And why is everybody else like this? Like, to think that at that young of age, you have to face that and think about that as a young girl. I was 9 years old. I forget how old she said she was. And I really liked this boy. We'll call him Nate. And he was white and blah, blah, blah. And he was, really classically really popular. All the other girls liked him. Of course, I did too. And I really wanted to date him. Like, I thought he was really cool. And the thing back then, with little kids, you have your friend to go let the guy that you like know that, oh, my friend likes you, you want to go out, blah, 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 instead of, approaching that shit. And I happened to be close by as my friends were trying to, set me up and shit. And he had his group of guy friends, and they told him like, "Oh, Jenna likes you. Like, do you like her? She wants you guys could hook up. You'd be so cute or whatever." And he straight up said, "No, I don't date nappy-headed girls. Like, she's dark. She's too dark too." And at that time, yeah, it was brutal.
Oh, how old were you?
8 or 9. That's crazy.
Jesus Christ.
I was, he said, he called me 2 things. I was a nappy-headed girl, and I was too dark. And I was even darker than I am now, because I was a playful kid. I was a outside kid. I was, in my mother's words, very tomboyish. I like to play outside, and I got, we get dark. And so obviously that hurt me, because not up until that point that I started to realize what I looked like, because someone else saw something negative about my appearance. I thought I was just a regular little girl, just like my other friends. And then all of a sudden you start noticing how your other friends don't look like you. And I all of a sudden started to pay attention that I had more white, Hispanic, and at the time, a lot of Filipino friends. They all were light-skinned, had long, flowing, straight, or naturally curly hair that would flow. I didn't have that. I either had braids or my hair was up in like a bun or whatever the fuck. It's crazy at that young of an age that I had to start paying attention to what I looked like, and then realizing how ugly I was at the same time, because me being very dark and having nappy ass hair was considered ugly. And those were the only reasons that he didn't want to date me. So I relate to that shit. And I remember telling that to my mother years later, and how that made me feel. And yeah, I won't go into that. It's a wholly separate story. But yeah, that young, having to hear that and having to go through that thought process by yourself, that's insane. And so I totally relate to that. And then this other part about, Marnie saying, it's more out in the news, this whole white supremacy stuff. No, it's always been there. It's always been out there. You're just now that, we're in modern times and every home virtually has either a phone or a TV linked up to something, that it's in your face. It's more in your face than it was 70, 80 some years ago. It's just more in your face, and now you have to deal with it. Now you have to internally look at yourself and say, do I have those same thoughts? No, I'm not like that. I'm not that offices. I'm not that overt like these people. No. Are you? Are you sure? So yeah. Yeah. 9 years old. That's when I realized my blackness.
And that, yeah, that's, that is so fucked. And I don't
even think I told you that.
At that age, now, well, first and foremost, at that young of age, now you're already being told that there's no other way to say it. You're not good enough for me, that person, right? That even, yes, that's a young age. There's 2 things. One, you're way too young to be hearing that, right? And someone telling you that you're not good enough because of the color of your skin and the way your hair grows. Like that's ridiculous, right?
That blew my mind.
And
I didn't know what to think or how to think. I just at first started crying because I was hurt because he didn't want to date me. But then thinking about it later, it was like, wait, what?
Right. Yeah, because then the second part of that is super duper fucked up that this kid at 8 or 9 years old even knows to say that shit. Mm-hmm. Now, what does that tell us about his parents, his grandparents? And again, that's a whole, which we can have another time. That's a whole, the generational and the, systemic and all that, which all that needs to be talked about too. But to keep it online for this documentary and what they're talking about, like, that's fucking nuts, man. Like an 8 or 9-year-old should not be being taught that, hey, this person, you don't like them because A, B, and or C or D, whatever, right? Come on. Especially white parents, fucking do better, be better. That's fucking
She
pathetic.
said that, I was like, oh God, I felt that. I just instantly remembered that moment. That's crazy.
And to the news / social media thing, here's why white people say that shit. Because the white folks that are truly afraid to have these conversations, they want to hide from it. They want to pretend that it's not there. The news outlets, social media puts a bullseye on it. That no, y'all, this shit's still happening.
Right.
Are we? And I'll just be point blank. Are we just on every day just hanging and black people from a tree? No, now it's more covert, right? But we're still doing it. Don't like it's not my fault, and it's not the black community's fault that you can't fucking see it and you can't fucking acknowledge it. So again, like I said earlier, you're either being willfully ignorant or you're stupid.
And I'll say this, and we'll jump back in. And we offhand will laugh about this when we see those old 80s or 80s commercials or news reports that you have the white anchorman saying the Negro community is depleting and blah, blah, we laughed about that. But now thinking about what she said, now how the news makes it more, open and visible. I'm like, bitch, they started filming riots of people being attacked by dogs and beaten with bats and hosed down in the 50s on TV. So that was still out there. It's been out there for years. It's been on the TV.
Yep, it just
didn't start in the last couple of years. That shit's been on TV.
Right, yeah. It's not because the internet popped up now. Oh, we see racism. No,
TikTok is streaming something.
You choose not to, right? That's what I'm saying. You're willfully ignorant, which I think 8, 9 times out of 10, that's what we're dealing with, or you're just fucking stupid, right? And it is what it is, and you don't like it because it's in your face, and now you have to deal with it. And to scroll up here, I was getting caught up with the chat here. Yes, I agree, Crystal. Jena, you have always been beautiful, and I've seen your pictures when you were a little girl. You were a beautiful little girl.
Thank you.
But yeah, hey, as Dr. Josh says, miss me with that bullshit.
Last summer, I get into my lift, and the guy turned around and looked at me, and he said, "Lady," he goes, "I hate to have to say this to you, but if I get pulled over, you're just another black woman," and he's black, and he said, "Put your hands up, do as they say, do not make any trouble."
He actually told you that.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, your God.
Of course.
To protect her.
To protect him and to protect me.
Where were you?
That's the life he lives.
And so-
that's his reality.
But that's
insane.
That's his reality, whether it's insane or not.
Yeah, it is insane, Michelle.
I'm saying
Yeah.
I get it. But what we're saying is, this is America.
I want to ask.
I'll say this because I know, just like you, I kind of left this out of my mind. Luckily, we drove away safe and stuff. I got pulled over last night because we were on our way back from Indy from his
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Luckily, he was anyway. I was driving.
No, motherfuckers know that.
Yeah. We were coming back from Indy from his battle, and Oz wanted to, they were both hungry, so I tried to stop. We were about 30 minutes out from our house, and I pulled off somewhere just so I can find some place open. It was close to midnight, and I wasn't used to the area. So I was just trying to find the nearest gas station. The off the side, signs on the freeway say there was a Marion gas station, so I took the next exit. I guess, per the officer, and I can't remember, but I believe him. I didn't make a complete stop pulling off the freeway and going on to, the regular road. And so I didn't realize, I knew there was a car behind me. I didn't realize it was him until he put on his, cherries and berries. So he pulls me over with, Oz next to me and Addie in the back seat. Tells me, license registration, telling me why, and all this stuff. And I say this because in that moment, I've been pulled over twice before, and each time, and especially, but this is the first time I've ever been pulled over living here in Indiana. So I hate to say it, but this is my reality. It's a different feeling. It is my reality because in that moment, even though maybe outwardly I looked pretty calm, I had to be, but I genuinely felt in that moment like, okay, like where should I place my hands? Okay, just be cool. I was literally mentally thinking, so I didn't have to stumble all over myself. Like thinking, okay, my license is right here in my dash. I'll just reach for that really quick so he knows. I'll be quick-handed and not try to fumble all over. And then, he asked for my registration and stuff, and I always keep that in my, that dash compartment. And that's when I started to feel like I was panicking. And I don't know if you can hear it in the crack of my voice where I was like, fuck, where's my car registration? Like mentally, I'm just like, oh my God, please find it. Please find it. I don't want something to happen. Like I literally had this panic, anxiety building because I was looking for my fucking registration. Like I know I didn't, rightfully did something totally wrong. I knew I wasn't in trouble. Look, I didn't get a ticket, by the way, end of story. He let me off with a warning. I mean, I have a good driving record, so I'm sure that's why. But it's like, I'm panicking literally, just trying to find my fucking registration, which I know I have, but I had so much papers in my glove compartment that I'm just like, oh my God, find it. I don't want to like waste time or have him, feel like, oh, this black woman's, getting a little sus or whatever. Like that's my truth. That's how I felt. And obviously Oz has his own truth and feelings in that moment because of recent things. But that's literally what was going through my head. And it felt like the longest 5 minutes or however long we were pulled off that I ever experienced. And it was the middle of the fucking night. It's dark. I've seen enough movies to where there's been bad cops and shit can, I'm the only black woman in a car with 2 other white people, but I will be seen as the one that's bad. That's genuinely how I felt. So I had to put that out there. Just her saying that about that cab driver and how Regina, the black lady, was saying, that's the reality. Fuck yeah, I just went through that last night. That is how I felt. And I know I didn't even say that to you because we were trying to get through the night and shit, but that's literally how I felt.
Yeah, and like I said, white folk, it's okay to say this, okay? Just so you know that your boy's giving you permission. It's okay to say, I don't know and I will never know what that's like.
Absolutely.
It's okay to say that. You should say that. Why? Because you won't.
That is the correct answer. I'll say that right now. You don't know. Just like we say that all the time as atheists, I don't know. That's the answer. You don't know. You don't know how it feels to be me in my lived experience.
Yeah, and I think this is actually a perfect example. Then we'll get back in the video. So there's in that context, there's no justified reason for that cop to have any bias or any slant one way or another, just looking at us, right?
Right.
Other than Jenna's a black woman, so she's with, like she said, too. So she's gonna get the automatic tick from a white cop, especially in fucking Indiana, out in the fucking boondocks.
Mm-hmm. I
right?
realized where I was.
It is what it is. Mm-hmm. What's ironic though, and it just shows the bias, right? Now, if he would have pulled both of our records, I'm the one he should have been worried about. Not because I'm not saying that because I'm violent and I'm out here doing this shit, but I got a record. She don't. Squeaky clean, right? But just because of that bias, that slant, just at face value, That's fucking stupid, right? That's fucking stupid, and that's what they're talking about. And that in her getting into that Lyft or the Uber, whatever it was, being one that I would say at least 10 times, probably more, at least 10 times, I've been the white dude in a car with anywhere from 2 to 5 or 6 black guys, and they're already warning me, like, bro, if we get pulled over, just know what time it is. Just know what time it is. You know, and obviously the more I got to know them, the longer we hung out, you know, they didn't have to give me the tip off or anything. I already knew what time it was, right? And again, even the times we got pulled over, and there's been several times, like thrown down on pavement. You know, my childhood best friend was Thai. His family moved from Thailand. I there's 2 times that stick out in my head. Watch him get fucking pepper sprayed, get the fucking shit beat out of him. Did they do shit to me? I mean, they cuffed me and shit, but they didn't treat me like they did him. They beat the brakes off that dude, right? Why did he get it and I didn't? We were doing the same shit.
That's crazy. That's wild.
We were doing the same goddamn fucking shit, right?
Hi.
Quick break. Daughter just got home. Okay.
Okay, nighty night.
Yeah, all right. We'll get back into it, but yeah, it is, because even in those even those contexts with my buddies, like I even got during criminal activities, I still got treated different. It's real. I don't give a fuck what you say.
Also to stop acting shocked. So part of white feminism is acting so surprised when we tell you.
But it is. Why are you telling us not to act the way that we act if it is surprising? Because to me, that is surprising.
That upholds white supremacy. So what I'm saying, I'm asking all of you that when we express to you, and I'm not just talking about Regina and I, because when this dinner is over, like this is a blip, right? You go back into the world.
What's up, Christopher? Thanks for checking us out. Thanks for hanging out.
And when people of color trust you enough to tell you their story, believe us without expressing shock, because when you express shock, it pushes you away from the blame.
That makes me very angry because I don't look at that.
I was born in 1950. You know what I expect of white?
Again, Miss Becky or Linda, or listen, Linda. Why are you getting angry? Like, that's always my first question. Like, Linda, why are you getting angry? They're pointing out the things that you need to hear about, that you need to know. Why are you getting angry?
Right.
I don't get it. I don't get why you think you're the one that should be getting angry. You don't have people that literally want to kill you because of the color of your skin, chick.
Right. And I want to thank you, Jay. Appreciate this.
Oh,
This
hell
is
yeah.
a great stream. Oz and Jena, I appreciate y'all. Been feeling a lack of solidarity lately. This stream is making me silly. Yes. This is exactly, obviously, shared experience.
Yeah. Oh,
exactly how I feel.
I was going to ask you a minute ago, babe. If he's free, I'm doing. If he's free and wants to jump on, I'd love to have Jay on. I think,
absolutely. Jay, if you're free, unless you got to wake up early, let us know. We'll send you a link.
yeah, absolutely. Yep. And Addie, that is my beautiful daughter. That is my beautiful daughter. She went with us. I'll just say this quickly. She went with us for her first time to see me DJ battle live. So that was a cool experience. Dad finally got to have one of his kids there with him.
White women, not a damn thing. Nothing. I expect nothing of you because you have never given me anything. I can't trust you, okay?
But how can we come together when you say something like, I will never trust a white woman? If we had a really heart-to-heart talk, you said you would never trust me?
Well, I would have to see.
But
You know,
out of all your years in life, you've never trusted a white woman.
well, let me put it this way. The ones I have trusted have come back to disappoint me.
Yeah, that's sad.
Yeah.
It's interesting to me that, Marnie, that when Regina's talking about her feelings and how she doesn't trust white women, instead of saying, my God.
Appreciate you, Jay.
Well, how can, like, why? Like, what about me? That's what you said. Would you trust me? What if we had a heart-to-heart conversation? Why are your feelings so hurt?
Both of you, though, has been about...
It's like a hate against us. Like, I feel like it's like...
It's been very aggressive.
That really, like, hurts me that somebody would not...
Oh, does that bother you?
You're so aggressive.
Does that bother you that somebody's pushing back? Does it bother you that someone's pushing back, Linda? I'm sorry, I don't give a fuck about your feelings in this regard.
How is that aggressive? There was nothing aggressive about her truth and what she's saying. I don't trust white women. Those I have trusted have turned back. There's nothing aggressive about saying that. If you, it's not her fault that you lack the understanding and the history behind those words and what that means. Because it is not only just a history in recent, as we saw in those Karens that we saw clipped out in the beginning of all this, why we don't trust white women, or, you know, any white person for that matter, when it comes to us. But keeping it to the dinner table, why we don't trust white women. It's because you want to say things like, you don't see colorblindness. You've already erased me. How can I trust you if you don't even see me? How can I trust you to make decisions that are right for me when you vote for Donald Trump? How can I trust you to be in my corner when, name it. It's that how can I trust that you want to be a part of my culture when you also want to dog me about my culture at the same time because of how my hair looks, the way I talk, whatever? How can I trust you? Thank you.
Bingo.
Yes.
Bingo.
Like I said, how can I trust you? You don't even see me.
Yeah, that's why I was looking at my notes, and both of you beat me to it, which have at it.
Yeah.
Fucking have at it. But
That's it.
That's
I definitely don't trust your ass, Marnie.
White folks, that's why you should be taking fucking notes. If you ain't got pen and paper, you ain't got your little pad out in your fucking iPhone or your tablet.
I don't care how dark
you ain't paying no goddamn attention. You ain't paying no goddamn attention. And then back to what you're being so aggressive. And look, y'all know me. I'm gonna keep it a buck. My lanes can get super foul, and I can go all the way left. I don't give a fuck. Bitch, what do you know about aggressive? I want to know what you know about aggressive. When you walk out the door, your kids walk out. When your kids go to school, do you worry about them getting pulled over by a cop and getting shot and killed, or get a knee getting put in their throat and choking them out till they die? Are you worried about that? That kind of aggression? No, you're not. You're worrying about that Johnny and Sally might wreck their BMW or their Mercedes. Stop it. Stop with that bullshit. And I'm not saying every white family drives BMWs and Mercedes.
Making a point.
Yeah, it's the point. Or you know, whatever, upper class, middle class, whatever. Like, stop it. That's not. Those are not the things you worry about. Those are not the things I worry about. Let's stop.
But why are your feelings more important than the reality of the violence of our lives? Imagine if your husband beats you and you confront him. Would you go and massage his back while you're confronting him? Or would you actually be really angry and hurt that he's been beating you? But that's where we come to when you've been a victim of abuse, and white women have abused us our whole lives. Why do we have to hold your hand? Can't we just tell you, hey, you guys have hurt us. This is what you've done.
Yes. Yes. That's why that bullshit about white women have never been, they weren't the starters of slavery. I think that's what the earlier TikTok clips women said. I'm like, bitch, a lot of white women back in those slave times on those sugarcane fields were drivers of the slave shit. Hell, part of the reason why we had in-house slaves was because of white women. A lot of that shit was, it wasn't just the white man. No, their wives, they were just as heavy-handed and hard-fisted as any of them.
Hey, if you believe white women was involved with slavery, listen to me right now. I have this absolutely stunning, gorgeous property out in the Cayman Islands, and I will sell it to you on the low. On the low. Just cash at me, and I'll send you the deed. I'll send you, just cash app your boy. That's all I need. If you actually believe that shit, man, ocean view, man, I got a property for your ass.
Hell, white men are the first to dog us out. You're the first. Unfortunately, you're the first. Because the moment we start, and this is funny, the moment we start, wearing different color hair or doing something different with us, then this is what you do. One, you try to misappropriate and put that in your own shit. And then two, you want to dog us for being natural-headed and doing other things different that we as Black women uniquely do or appear, and criticize that and say, no, that's not professional looking. That's not classic. That's not whatever. It's always the negative when it comes to this. Always. Don't trust you.
And Carrie, what do you mean exaggerating the racism? Just so I'm clear, I want to make sure I'm clear on how I'm. What's the word I want? Interpreting that.
Now make it right.
I know Syra, and when she says she doesn't trust white women, and I consider her a friend of mine, I also understand why she doesn't trust me. I don't take that personally. And
I'm asking a question on what could you do, because as a white woman, I guess it's not like...
we have a lot of work to do. We have so much work to do, and so I don't take it personally, because I understand that that is her life.
But to say you're your friend, but she doesn't trust you, is also a hard thing for me to accept. The same. This is my friend, but she does not trust me.
And also, why on earth is it about you? The fact, and also I want to come back to, why would you say that we're spewing hate? We're telling you what it's like to be us. And
not everybody, you don't have to look at my color of my skin saying I'm white to not trust me. Why don't you look past that I'm white and say she's a good person?
Because her entire life, we've never given her a reason to trust us.
Everything is not whole white people. Not all white people are bad.
Everything.
And that's funny. Why can't you just look past my skin color and see me, bitch?
I'll just, babe, isn't that what people of color have been asking for forever?
Thank you.
Forever?
Thank you. You see a Black man down the road, what do you see? A threat. You see a Black woman with nappy head, what do you see? Some ugly bitch.
Yeah.
You see me when you claim you don't see me, because you already prejudged my appearance, but you want to sit there and say, well, why can't you see past me being white and see me? Yes, exactly.
And here again, this is where, and this is when, for white folks that aren't comfortable having these conversations, now this is when it gets really taboo. We are listening to right now this, whether you like it or not, these are the traits and characteristics of white supremacy right here. Why me? Why not me? Me. Why is it always got to be about you?
This conversation is not about you. Her defense is palpable, obviously. It's palpable because it's all like, well, I'm hurt that you say that. Like, that hurts me that you say that as a white friend, she doesn't trust you. That hurts me. Why does it hurt you? She's clearly telling you this is not for you to be offended about. Historically, I can't trust you. Even nowadays, I can't trust you. By the way you vote, by the way you talk to me, by you sitting right across the fucking dinner table, how you're acting. It's the very essence of the problem. You being offended at what you think is you not being racist, but you're actually being oppressive all at the same time. Because what are you doing? You're contributing all this to you, how it makes you feel, how you feel offended, how you feel like we're being aggressive. It's not about you. I'm telling you my truth so that you understand how I feel when I say these words. It's not about how you feel. So that you understand and can carry this on and say, I understand based off what this person has told me. And if you are a genuine good person, then there's nothing to be offended about. This is reality.
Absolutely. And Jay brought, and maybe we do a stream in the future about this, because if this isn't point on, that could tie into this, but also be a whole nother conversation all by itself. Sorry, it took it down automatically. I have a timer on it. Think about this, y'all. They steal black women's aesthetics, then demonize the black bodies they emulate. Just look at Hollywood.
Big lips, big booties.
Look,
braids.
That's point on. Yep. Spot on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that.
Yes, sir. We will.
Fuck it. I'll say, not all, but I'm talking about especially Hollywood, what they present, right? What they're presenting to the masses. Majority, not all. Majority of these white bitches ain't got these big old booties and these big old lips naturally, right? That's all. As Jay was saying, and yeah, we should do a stream about that, because they did. It's it's great. It's great. Let's save that for another time. That's crazy.
Not every white person is bad.
I think that part of what
I have this discussion with people that I know, friends, lawyers, everybody, and they'll say, well, Regina, there are some good white people. And I'll go, well, what have the good white people been doing for the last 450 years? What have you been doing? Obviously, it's not enough, because nothing has changed.
And I will say this right now, that one hits me like, and even just hearing it, like, again, this is organic for me right now too. Like, I consider myself to be outspoken and, because I never, I'm never going to come out and say I'm an ally, because that's, you don't elect yourself an ally, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I am a defender and a friend and a support, whatever it is. But I'm not going to throw that ally tag on like some people love to do without, that be given to you. But even hearing her say that, no, you're damn right. I could do more. I could talk about it more, and I should. And that's on me. Especially if I'm going to say that I'm a defender and a lover and a supporter and all that. That's on me, and I should. And that's my responsibility. And she's dead on that. So if you are a white person, you hear that, and if it hits you and it makes you feel funny, it should. It should make you feel a certain way. I know it does me when I hear it. No, I could do more, and I could say more, and I guarantee you I fucking will.
When you're in discussions with white people about racism, they like to say, well, MLK changed the world and he did it with nonviolence. And my question to them is, well, if he changed the world, why are we still here 50 plus years after his death?
I just want you to get clear. We're trying to tell you what it's like. People's feelings are hurt. We're spewing hate. So we are trying to tell you, and the first thing that a lot of you at this table have done has been this. And I want you to sit with that.
Yes.
I just want you to sit with that.
Sit with that. Yep. There's a lot to this.
Yep.
Because I've been doing this my whole life.
Yep.
That's what that means.
Yeah, because human nature is the path of least resistance, right? And again, in this context, this conversation, the path of least resistance is, yes, push it under the rug, pretend this shit doesn't exist. Let's make believe that we're make believing, right? Because even when you're make believing, it's still fucking real. So you're make believing that you're make believing that this shit, but it's happening every goddamn fucking day. Right. And to what she said, again, when I say this is something that I'm very proud of, and Jen and I talk about this. I won't say frequently, but we've had several conversations about it, and from the time we first started talking, now dating, and now living together for 2 years. One thing that I am proud of is especially my like day-to-day, circle that I see in person. My friends that are just, I would say 99% of them are black guys. One of the biggest compliments that they give me is they say, Oz, what we love and respect about you and why like your family to us is you're not afraid to ask questions, but more importantly, you shut the fuck up and you listen. And you're not trying to defend, you're not trying to deflect, you're not trying to reason, quote unquote reason or excuse yourself or others out of the fucked up shit that happens or the fucked up shit people say, but you either own it or you absorb it and try to figure out, well, how can I help you better, even if it's individually? And like I said earlier, I should probably be doing more. But that's one thing I hang on to. So the reason I say that is, again, to the white folks, sometimes, like, ask all the questions. But be prepared. You're probably not going to like the fucking answers you get. Because it's not pretty. Okay? No. This is not a pretty conversation. So it's not going to be, well, tell me this, and you're going to get, like she said, no one should be handling you with kid fucking gloves and being worried about your fucking feelings. Why? Because exactly what they're talking about, nobody's gave a fuck about their feelings for forever.
We've had it rough forever.
For forever. And you're worried about a 10, 20, 30-minute conversation. You're getting your little fucking feelings hurt. Man, get the fuck out of here.
And I will say, because you circle back to it, and I love you, and you should give yourself credit because you do. And I say this to everyone as an example, because it doesn't have to be as huge as starting, a YouTube channel shouting about it, or even doing activist shit and creating an organization. It can be as minute as what Oz did last night. And I say this because simply having your daughter there, just as, support for you, and have one of your children experience what you fucking do and how great you are at it. But when we had that little conversation where she felt uncomfortable, and not to say this, and I don't want to put her on blast, but it's beautiful in the sense that how good it relates to this, in which this is how minute but impactful it can be by simply doing this, where it was me, him, and his daughter were sitting at a table getting ready for shit to start. Addie is like I identify myself a lot with Addie, as in we're both introverts. We're not comfortable with being in big crowds or parties or things like that. I relate to that. So I can gravitate in that moment when she said, I don't like being here because I don't like parties and crowds of people, and this music's not my vibe. And obviously the music's like hip hop and shit. And, given where we were, 95% of the crowd was black. Okay, just to set the tone. So, what? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were going to say something. So, and she wasn't referring to that, her being uncomfortable because of there being black people. It was just the fact that hip hop is not her thing. She's into, what 16-year-old girls are into right now. So, and she, overly explained like, no, it's not because of, black people, blah, blah, blah. And like, I instantly knew what she meant. And I even spoke up to give her comfort and to say, I know what you mean. I'm an introvert too. Big crowds, hip hop music, that's not my thing either. But, and her dad, and I'll paraphrase what Oz said in the most beautiful of way. He said, it's good. I'm glad I brought you here because, it's good to have this kind of exposure. It's good to be in places where you experience different cultures and you experience different groups of people outside of what you're used to. Being comfortable with the uncomfortable and knowing that different people exist other than what you are familiar with. Having that experience, being a part of that, drives diversity, drives having open conversations like this, drives people being comfortable with other fucking people that don't look like you. And that's why I give you credit, babe, for even something as small as you leaning on your daughter and expressing that to her. That can be at some point later in her life or soon be even more palpable. And she will think about that and also be a continuing change. It can be that small. So give yourself credit because you're already doing it.
And I appreciate that. And
I think your camera froze. If you want to turn off and on.
Yeah, well, I'll say thank you. Then I'll reverse. I do appreciate that because that is something that I try to be super aware of, right? And I know, especially since my ex-wife and I's divorce, my kids culturally are like so tunnel visioned that I hate it. As a dad, I fucking hate it because that's not how I grew up. Like what that little boy said to you, I'm telling you right now, if I'd have said, first of all, I wouldn't even known to say that. I didn't grow up around that shit. That kind of venom. Mm-hmm. That said, had I said that to a young black girl, my mom and dad both, and my grandma and grandpa, even from their generation, they would have slapped, and I'm not encouraging child abuse, but they would have slapped the taste out of my mouth. Like, you said what to her? Mm-hmm. Did you lose your ever-loving mind? That's not how we talk to people. That's not how we treat people. Like, they literally would have slapped the taste out of my mouth. So I say that to say thank you. And I want my children to be sensitive to that and know that there are other people, different cultures, different experiences, different views, everything. And you should be able to sit down and have conversations. And it not be I'm scared or this is weird or whatever.
And I say that for me too.
Yeah,
and I'm black.
And I understand some people are introverts, right. So I'm not, and I will give credence to that. But I'm saying the overarching point is, as human beings, we should be able to talk to each other about these things and it not go sideways and ugly. That's all I'm saying. So let me refresh this shit.
Please, it looks creepy.
Creepy.
At any other point in time. Oh shit, I forgot. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I forgot when we shared the same soundboard. So I was clearly just talking to myself while y'all was just like, what the fuck? You're muted. Sorry. My bad. When he dips out, obviously it mutes me too. So my bad, y'all. I was, to repeat myself.
What happened was.
My bad, y'all. As I was saying, I was just acknowledging us being the viewership and y'all in the chat saying you were grateful that we showed this. I'm grateful that I stumbled upon it. Like I wish I watched this shit sooner, but it came out 2 years ago, so it's still fucking relevant. I was saying I did link babe linked put the link of the documentary in the description. So you know, after this, go watch it for yourself and analyze, blah, blah, blah. Share it. Please fucking share it because this is solid. The more that, and this is still, like we said, we haven't watched all this. This is freshly organic. It is powerful. But I thank you and appreciate y'all. And I'm glad we were able to share this tonight too. So thank you for being here.
Yep. And we'll just, because I want to be respectful of Jena's schedule. Her Monday through Wednesday are her super early mornings. So we'll probably do another 5 to 10 minutes of the video, which probably means like 15, 20 minutes. And then that way she can get to bed and we'll do the rest of it.
Or we watch the whole thing.
What's that?
I'll say how I feel.
Okay. Yeah, it's totally up to you. I'm just trying to be respectful of your time.
I appreciate
it's early
it.
morning. So it's up to Jena whether she wants to finish the shit out or not. She's the one that's got to get up at the butt crack of dawn. So, all right, here we go.
That's all.
Thank you.
All right. Have a great day.
Okay.
Bye. I have a phone call coming up with my Westchester people. We have 2 hosts in Westchester and
really fast. And shout out to these ladies in the organization, the Race to Dinner, because it isn't just a singular thing. Like they're spreading this this Race to Dinner, this organization, whatever you want to call it, these conversations. They're trying to spread this shit like butter, right? Mm-hmm. And so mad love and respect to them for taking the initiative and like literally putting the gloves on and doing the work, right? Yeah. So shout out to them.
And again, if it's out of town, they're doing a lot more fundraising, so it's that much more. Now they have to go, and they have to not only tell friends and family and people in their network, like, sweetheart.
Then do we have to get a new car?
Yeah, we do. Okay. Can I have some space right now?
Yeah.
Thanks, bud. But for me?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. That's so nice. Sharing is caring. We have a host that was like, Genevieve, this is really important to me. And hey, that's one of Desmond's paper people. Drop it. Sorry, buddy. Here you go. This is like all day long losing my train of thought. Oh, here they are. Hey, is this Shannon and Diana? Yay! So I love hearing all the work that you're doing. And I mean, you said 100 people showed up to that first meeting. How many are like still? I like Genevieve a lot. I think that she's extremely endearing and kind and really wants to do good. We need a white woman in that position because white women have to hear this from other white women. And I'm from New York, and I can tell you from personal experience that we need it in New York. We're not credible in some ways until, frankly, we get in the room and we have some time to work with these women. But before the dinners, white women respond much better to other white women than they would with us. And that, in a nutshell, is white supremacy. All right, well, thank you both so much. I really appreciate it. And we will, you're going to hear from me very soon. What else happened today?
And I can just say, to steal phrasing from the church, I can say yes and amen to that. Because I've watched my uncle, my godfather, try to have conversations with certain white people. They weren't having it. We're not having it. And then whatever, time span, whatever passes, I end up, without him present, I end up having the very same conversation, same content, same subject, and I'm communicating the same things that he did as a black man. Now all of a sudden they're all ears. And it's like, the fuck? As my daughter would say, the fuck?
Yeah, tech class.
Ooh. Is that where you emailed me from?
Yeah.
Really?
We were using, they taught us how to delete all the spam emails.
Have you also figured out how to delete all the other 20 email addresses you've created?
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Have you done that?
Not yet. I figured it out.
Okay. Let's do that next.
Okay, so we're having a vegetarian meal.
Why don't you put him to work?
Have you used a bigger knife before?
Yeah.
No.
He looks like he's in control.
Yeah, and then the next thing you have is a finger that.
Well, we'll work through it.
We'll work with the cutoff finger.
Okay.
Cheers.
Happy New Year. Cheers. You know, when we were at some dinner and my dad asked, you know, who is an inspiration in your life? And Eliana said, you.
Did you? That really makes me feel good. Thank you.
It's because you're super brave and you like speak out against what's wrong. So that's cool.
Oh my God. Thank you. That's why we do what we do, right?
Yep.
Thank you,
It's for the
Eliana.
kiddos.
That's dope.
Yeah, you just tell the truth, right? That's a good lesson in life. Always tell the truth.
And be brave.
This just became the best thing that happened to me in 2020.
How many times have you guys had a conversation directly about race in school or with your friends?
Never. Once on Martin Luther King Day, all I talked about was the I Have a Dream speech.
My friend's little sister is being bullied for being Jewish, and she like got a note saying to kill herself, and like the school isn't really doing anything about it. She said that she didn't believe in Santa Claus because she was Jewish, and then a bunch of people like held her down and like almost
God.
beat her up, and there was 1 or 2 kids trying to help her, but there wasn't much they could do.
And that's the thing. It's the silence of the masses that, you know.
Yeah.
In Spanish class, an anonymous person said that I should leave the school for being brown, and every single person at the table and the table behind us heard, and they just went back to writing.
We all get lumped together, right, Poop?
Yeah.
Growing up, this happened all the time. And I told my parents one time, my mom, and basically she was like, just stop. Like, this is the way it is. So I never said anything again. And that's what part of I felt like I deserved it. This is just part and parcel. And so it felt like a little bit of a victory to me that he at least told me. He felt unsafe. He felt unsafe at the school. It's a lot for kids to deal with. I'm very sorry, Bubby.
I am too.
It's okay.
Do we have a white person ban in this country right now? Do we have a white woman ban in this country right now? Do we have a Christian ban in this country right now? Do we have a Jewish ban in this country? What ban do we have in this country right now?
Muslim.
We have a Muslim ban in this country.
And it makes sense with what happened with my son, because the day before he got in the fight with the friend who was not a friend but was Muslim, the day before, I guess on the internet, it was Kill the Muslims Day.
Oh my God.
Which he didn't know about, I didn't know about, but the school knew about. So then when he got in a fight with a boy in his class who's Muslim that apparently had been going on for years, of course, then my son, it makes sense. The school would be hypersensitive. But as a mother, how do I explain that to my son? Like, I don't know what is the right thing to say to him.
So I'll tell you what, that's your privilege, and you're acknowledging it.
Of course.
To say I don't know how to talk to my son, he experienced in his mind, and in my mind he absolutely didn't, he experienced a tiny little fraction. My little 8-year-old boy, who's the sweetest little boy on the planet, his first week of school in the 2nd grade, a little white girl told him, your skin is disgusting, you don't belong in this school.
Well, how can we help our kids? How can we change it? Like, we have young children. What would you say, what do we do as parents with young children? How do we change this to not
Acknowledging your racism and acknowledging your white privilege and having a conversation with your kids.
Boom.
And again, I'll say yes and amen to this. And again, as the white dude speaking to other white folks, listen, if I hear any of y'all say that white privilege is not a thing, all you're going to get from me, you'll get one of 3 things or all 3. You're willfully ignorant, you're stupid and or a big old fuck you. Because if you don't realize that that shit is real, you're an idiot. But you're a fucking idiot. Because man, it's saying the broadcast is going to end. Hold on, let's make sure this isn't bullshit. Yeah, I thought it was bullshit.
Okay.
Yeah, we good.
We're good.
So, outside of legal shit, so when we were talking about this right before we went live, and I said I would share this story, right, about my GED. So I dropped out of school essentially after my sophomore year. I went to maybe a day or two for my junior year, but I was like, hey, this school shit ain't for me, man. I want to be out here making money. But I did get my GED. Now, I'll be honest, I don't think I earned my GED. I got lucky as fuck. I had all the right intentions. Now, this is the funny part of the story. Had all the right intentions. And at that time, it was a 2 or 3 day testing process. All 2 or 3 days, I was like, man, I'm going to go in there. I'm going to be sober-minded, and I'm going to nail this shit, said my undiagnosed, untreated ADHD bipolar 1 ass, right? Well, let me tell you, all 3 days, I smoked an entire goddamn blunt before I walked into that shit. And that I'm going to be uber fucking focused and shit, lasted for like 2 minutes. And the rest of the time, you know how the test, it's like, you know, filling the dot shit. Mm-hmm. Man, I was making designs like fucking Christmas trees and triangles and like all this shit to fill in the dots, right? Man, I left after the, whatever it was, second or third day. I was like, there ain't no goddamn way. I'm going to be doing this shit over again. And I'm probably never going to get this shit because I'm never going to do it sober, right? Well, as Jena would say, why come? Like a month and a half after I took I had actually at that point forgot that I even took the fucking tests. I mean, that's how irrelevant it was to me at that point. Why my dad called me? He was like, hey, son, I just got something in the mail from your high school. Do you want me to open it? I was like, well, I dropped out, so I'm not getting suspended or anything. Yeah, go ahead and open it.
Checking the wrist, checking it twice.
So he opens it, and he was like, you got your GED? Like, he even... he said, you got your GED? I was like, nuh-uh. He was like, nah, it's right here. It's signed. Ooh. Like, you got... And these, I know these are the days you got your GED? I was like, man, I told you.
Play it off.
Man, I told you I was gonna get that G, and I didn't tell him until years later that shit that was a circus act. My mom would have said, R.I.P. My mom would have said, well, the Holy Ghost was guiding your hand. While I was stoned, Mom. Right. While I was stoned making designs.
Right. God was with you.
But like that's one of the funniest stories that I have, like, as far as like education and shit like that, because it's like, how many people just guess on the entire fucking GED test and still get the fucking the GED, the piece of paper, right? That shit's funny to me. Anyway, so I get the GED. And to kind of what we're talking about here, to I'll bring it full circle. I have not stepped a single foot into a classroom since I was 16, 17 years old. Never attended a single college course. Never went and took business classes. Nothing like that, right? Now, I will say that I am a hard worker, and I busted my ass to get where I'm getting ready to go with this. I am a hard worker, so it's not like everything was just handed to me. I'm not going to pretend, right? I did bust my ass. But as a tatted up white dude, GED, obviously they don't know that part of the story, but my highest finished grade, technically would have been a freshman because sophomore, they were still holding me back going into my junior year, right? So technically speaking, I have a 9th grade education. With that GED, I took the hustle, everything that I learned, ripping and running the streets. And once I figured out, okay, I don't want to do that shit anymore because I don't want to either die I don't want to die or go to prison. I got a job in sales, and again, bust my ass. But within like 6 years, whatever it was, I got promoted to regional sales director. I was in the top 2% of America in income. I was making anywhere from like 150 to 160K per year. I was swimming in money till COVID. Fucking COVID.
9th grade education.
9th grade education, GED. It gets still tatted up, everything. I worked hard, but I watched, now looking back at it, I watched several people of color that had better resume, more education, had degrees, had more experience, didn't have the old criminal shit, lagging on. Now looking back at it, I was picked over all of them.
That's the privilege.
Bingo was his name-o. So when anybody tries to tell me with that, and then like the stories I shared earlier, where, we'd get pulled over, or like, especially, I remember when Danny and I were essentially living next door to each other, but we're living in projects, like within buildings of each other, and we'd be with our boys out smoking, drinking, whatever, and they would roll up. Guess who's the one? Again, I'm not trying to make it what it's not. Like, I still got cuffed, I still got slammed on the concrete, I still got all that, but they would beat, like, my black friends, and then, like I said, my childhood best friend that was Ty. They would beat the brakes off these motherfuckers. I would just get thrown on the concrete, and I say just because that's nothing compared to what they got, right? And it's like, again, to come full circle, for anyone to try to tell me, even from my perspective as a white person, that shit doesn't happen, you're out of your goddamn mind. I've watched it firsthand. And I've been the beneficiary. I've benefited from it, even when I didn't want it, or didn't ask for it, didn't plead for it. It wasn't even then, especially back then when I was young, dumb, full of cum. I wasn't even thinking like that, right? But now, looking back at 42 years old, I was benefiting from it and didn't even realize it. So do not tell me it doesn't exist. I will tell you to fuck off.
There you go.
Because you're an idiot.
That's perfect.
I want to drink after that.
Yes.
If I could find the goddamn track.
1, 2, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. Get fucked up, 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 get fucked up.
Hey, man, y'all know I appreciate humor. Oz the DEI hire. Yeah, it's crazy looking back at it now, because it had again, back then it was ignorance for me back then. Right? I didn't realize what was happening. Now I know what was happening or what is happening. So to try to tell me that it's not real,
shit.
Shut the fuck up.
From the time that they were little, and step one, truly, and it seems easy, but right now we're seeing that it's not, is not getting fragile. And by fragile, not getting angry, not getting defensive, not getting upset,
Or he's like, I'm still angry.
Like, please, whatever you do when you leave here, do not teach your kids to be colorblind. Do not talk about colorblindness. Don't say that I don't see the color of your skin and we cut ourselves open, it's bleeding red. The thing that really needs to happen, frankly, is white women need to come together. You guys need to come together, because until and unless you come together, there's no hope for us. And right now what's happening is white Democratic women are attacking white Republican women and vice versa, and you both are taking the moral high ground, and you're all the same. I knew that Donald Trump was gonna win. The minute he started talking about Mexican rapists, I knew that was gonna be a benefit, not a detriment.
They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists. They want to change your religion. I don't think so. Not gonna happen. I am the least racist person in this room.
Are you
I am
racist?
the least
Said that.
racist.
Racist. The fact you fucking said that make fake ass election, fake ass president, fake ass,
Fake ass fights, fake ass,
tan, fake ass. Anyway,
you tell me what you think, babe. I actually think this is going to be a great pause point, and we come back here because I think this is going to lead into other conversations that not because part of white supremacy, if you don't believe it, between this live and the next, you can Google it. Part of their like the white supremacy, like you think KKK and all that, like part of their core, dare we say, doctrine or ideals, misogyny is like boop. It's thrown in there, and the white women don't even understand that. The white women don't even understand that even in that conversation, yes, as this particular conversation is about race, but what you don't understand when someone like this fuckface says this shit, misogyny is also snuck in that back door. And you're fucking it all up.
Yeah.
So what these two women are telling the white women is so dead on. Like, y'all have to get your shit together and understand what you're supporting.
Right. Because the very person you supported and voted for, this fucker, is the very person that's dogging you out too. And you don't even see that. Why? Because you choose to be blinded to it, or you just, well, he's for this and that's what I want. No. You don't substitute bullshit like this. You don't substitute ignorance. Don't substitute trauma. Don't substitute a rapist. Don't substitute a bigot. Don't substitute a man that clearly doesn't know what the fuck he's doing.
And can we be clear? And so being a hip hop head and being a DJ, and again, that's why this might be a good break point, babe.
That's fair.
If you're
That's
cool
fair.
with it.
I'm cool.
Because I think this could take a couple different facets.
Yeah.
A couple different facets, and if then next time if Jay wants to jump in on this too, he's more than welcome. Here, so being a hip hop head, being a DJ, and being very in tune to that part of entertainment, that part of culture, and then specifically the black hip hop culture and what Donald Trump has meant in the past, and now where we are today. Can we be really, really crystal clear right now? Donald Trump, the only time he has partnered with anyone that's not a white person is when he knew that he was going to get over and he was going to make a ton of money off of them.
Yep.
That's it, and that's all.
Yep.
It was never hey, I care about you. I care about you. No, it's always been, I care about what I can make off of you. Point blank, period. Like even when
Which is the story of America.
Even when he did features, like y'all know, if you follow my DJ channel, you know Method Man is one of my favorite rappers of all time. One of my regrets as a Method Man fan is that he has a fucking feature from years and years ago, before he ever even talked about running for president, but years and years ago, has a feature of Donald goddamn fucking Trump on there. And now in hindsight, we know that he did that just to make money off you because you was popping at the time, bro.
Yep.
He didn't give a fuck about you.
No.
He did not give a fuck about you. So, yeah, I think this could be multifaceted going from here, because now when we start bringing because this is when the white supremacy really kicks in, because when politics, power, economics, all that kicks in, now it takes a whole nother shape.
Yeah.
Right. And
it does.
I think it's worthy of pausing there and picking it back up and being fresh, when we start talking about it. But, yeah, hey, fuck Donald Trump.
Fuck Donald Trump. No, I agree. This is a good pausing point. And I mean, I'm cool with spending hours on this shit, but I realize the time and how long we are and how far we are. And yes, I agree. Like when you get the political shit involved, and given the time that this shit was run and filmed, and what we are about to get our asses into again, it's no further from being perfect. So, I mean, I have final thoughts, but I'll let you go first, and then we can wrap.
Yeah, I was about to say, this topic, I would prefer you close.
Yeah.
I guess to be short, I don't want to be long-winded. To be short, to all of my white brethren and sisterin that have been listening, or let you listen to this later, know first and foremost, in this regard, when it comes to this context, this conversation, I give zero fucks about your feelings. The reason I say that is because people of color, and more specifically in America, as a whole, forever, the existence of black people in America, no one's ever give a fuck about them and their feelings. So why are we supposed to give a fuck about yours or mine? Even mine. I'll say it. Why give a fuck about mine, right? Pull your big boy, big girl pants up and have the conversations. Be an adult. Be a fucking adult. Sit down and have the conversation. Have questions ready. That said, like I said earlier, make sure you're ready for the answers you're going to get. They're not going to be fun. They're not going to be pretty. It's probably not going to be like the most ecstatic conversation you've ever had in your life. This is not like exciting, thrilling, exhilarating shit to talk about, right? And as creators, everything. And fortunately, I think for Jen and I, we talk about these things so much that we can bounce back and forth, between the serious and still injecting humor into it, because it is a normal conversation for us. But I understand that's not the case for everybody. So no, when you ask those questions, be prepared, because if you get offended, look in the mirror. Go look in the goddamn mirror. You're part of the problem. You are part of the problem, and I have zero problems telling you that. And if you got issues with that, holla at your boy. This is ozmusic@gmail.com. Holla at your boy. I'll break it down for you. Lastly, I want to talk about the parent part, because I've seen it in the chat a few times. And this is something I hold near and dear to my heart, like we talked about, as a father of 4. Parents, don't teach your kids to fucking hate for whatever reason, whether it's a racial thing, a gender thing. Don't teach that to your kids. Let them figure shit out. Don't teach them to hate. Please don't do that. It's only going to make the world, our communities, our day-to-day relationship, it's only going to make it more difficult when that's how we're raising our kids. Hold your opinions to yourself. It's very easy. Teach your kids to respect everybody equally and let them figure that shit out. But don't teach them that fucking dog shit, right? Because now you've already poisoned the well, and now you are part of the continuation of the hate, the murder, the killings, the beatings, the slayings of people that never fucking deserved it, simply because they don't look like you, they don't talk like you, and they don't come from where you come from.
Right.
And as my mom would say, and if you don't know what it is, go look it up. Selah, motherfucker.
I like that. Say la. Say less. No, it's good. Oh, there's a lot. There's a lot. There's a lot. I might hold you for like an extra 5 minutes. But I'll start off, and I told this story to Babe earlier, once we started to want to stream this. And I have too many stories, but this is a significant one for me because of how I identify myself. Yes, obviously by appearance, I am Black. I am a woman. I identify as a woman, blah, blah, blah. As some of you may know, I am a nurse in real life. And I pride myself on being a nurse. And I've been a nurse for over close to 11 years now. And I took my education seriously. You know, I took, once I knew what it meant to be a nurse and got involved and got educated and took that duty and job seriously, I've hung on to it, and I have great passion being a nurse and have worked different departments, whether they've been really young or really old or in the middle, whatever the case. This particular moment where I've been a nurse at this point 4 years at least, 4 or 5 years at this point. And this happened when I was still back in California, before I met Oz, before, you know, all that stuff. You know, I was working with a provider, white woman, and I make this preface just to make my point. You know, I'm doing my usual day-to-day, checking in patients to see the provider for whatever various things. This one particular patient, older woman, brought in by her daughter, wheeled her in or whatever. I forget what she was there for specifically, but you know, I'm checking her in, getting her blood pressure, going through like things that she had questions, concerns on. And, you know, part of my job is to, you know, make sure you're up to date on preventative care measures, meaning if you need a breast exam, or if you need to do that, you know, colon and rectal screening because you're of age to get that done. If it's the flu shot season, it's my duty to provide that service to you or let you know of that. In this particular case, this older lady was due for her flu shot. So, and I explained to Oz, like, there is a way to navigate as a nurse to gain the persuasion, in a sense, to say, you know, not ask them if they want the flu shot, but say, oh, looks like, you know, it's flu season. Looks like you haven't had your flu shot yet. Let's go ahead and take care of that after your visit with Dr. So-and-so. I said that to her, you know, whatever. And then almost immediately, her daughter steps almost in front of me to look me dead in the eye and say, how dare you offer that to my mom? And I said, I'm sorry, you know, excuse, I didn't say, you know, I said it in the most kindest way, but I was utterly just thrown. And I know I'm obviously aware of, you know, how people feel about the flu, or any shot for that matter. And this, of course, was way, way, way before COVID. At the time, you know, the flu, oh, that causes autism because it has this whatever. And, you know, that's bullshit. That's been debunked, by the way. So I was aware of those things. So I figured that was a similar, and if semi was, because she almost seemingly yelled that in my face to me, but she dogged me out, like legitimately, this is how I felt. and this is what it appeared to be because she got really like elevated about it, dogged me out on my lack of education about me wanting to provide a service to her mother by offering her the flu vaccine. Tried to say, you know, how dare you offer that? You have no true education, blah, blah, this, everything. Just almost to the point where I felt like this lady's about to call me the B word. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just let the provider know. I try to, you know, settle the situation as best I can so I can get her the fuck out of my face and get her into a room. Now, my station was not but a few feet away from the provider, the patient room where the provider went in to see her. Again, the doctor was a white woman, and this was a white daughter with her white mom. Doctor goes in the room. I let the doctor know, you know, after I worked them up, got them in. I didn't tell her what happened. I told her, you know, this is why the patient's here. Her daughter's in the room with her. She did decline the flu shot. You know, sometimes you have to tell that to your provider to help encourage them to get whatever service they can get that day. That's the responsibility I have. I did not tell her the situation that occurred. I told her simply, this is why she's here, and she declined to have the flu shot for this reason. So that encourages the provider to know to go into the situation, to understand why they declined it, and help encourage them to get it. And you'll understand why I said all that. So she goes in, and the walls are fairly thin. I can hear the conversation as I'm like going through my other charts and seeing if my other patient is here. You know, doctor goes through why she's there. She mentions the flu shot. And I did not say this. When she was approaching me about her arguments about the flu, I was letting her know, based off of my education, my knowledge, the statistics, the things I fundamentally knew to encourage to get the flu shot, the provider didn't even say anything close to what I said to the daughter and the patient. All the provider said was, you know, I encourage you for your mom, since she's here today for this, let's go ahead and get her protected and give her the flu shot. Without any fight, no pushback, no raising a voice, nothing. And yes, someone can argue this was a matter of status, because I'm just a nurse. What the fuck do I know? And that's the doctor. But she didn't lay out any statistics. She didn't have to go into over explaining why or even convincing. She just simply said that. The daughter fucking agreed. And I gave her mom a fucking flu shot after the visit. Now, in that moment, because after, you know, feeling like attacked and rooming her, I had to calm myself down because I felt so shooken up for someone to just approach me like that. And even though understanding her reasonings and how stupidly dumb they were, but the fact that I recognized, again, in that moment, being a Black nurse and having my white doctor, encouraged to give the flu, and she's saying, okay, there's two things from this. Class, obviously, because why would a nurse be as low as a doctor and should, mind you, have the same level of, medical knowledge and education? Just, a doctor can obviously fucking do more. Because I pride myself on knowing that shit and being on top of my work and providing the duty to my patients. So one, there's a class thing. Obviously, yes, to me, that's a race thing too. What made you so compelled to get up in my face, threatening and saying that I didn't know, or, dogging me on the fact that I lack education? How do you know? You didn't say that to the doctor. You simply took her at her word because of status and what she looked like. But no, you don't take me as mine. You outright dog me out and say, what do you know? You lack the education. Excuse me? You don't know me. And that's a classic example of something minute that Black people can go through on a day-to-day basis. Something as small as that. sounds small. It doesn't feel small to me, because like how those women were, hands up in defense, that's how I literally was, in defense, hands up, having to defend myself and my education and my knowledge and my pride as a nurse, trying to take care of your fucking mom. And all of a sudden you want to attack me and not even know me. That's the very thing that people like me, people like Jay, like Cynthia, like Maya, all of them go through on a daily fucking basis. So yes, I encourage everyone to know this, review this, watch this on your own, even if you watch beyond where we went in the video. And we'll come back to this, obviously, because at least being empathetic and knowing how that is a reality for myself and those that I've named, that all of you are familiar with, that sticks in us, and we are constantly in defense of ourselves every fucking day, whether we consciously think about it or not. A conscious situation would be how I explained when we got pulled over last night. An unconscious situation would be exactly what I explained to you right now, where it just suddenly fucking happens, or someone just comes up with you saying one thing sideways and then disrespect you for no fucking reason. It's an unconscious thing when, you know, you suddenly, and I said this to, I don't know if I said this on air, where at my previous job, I come down to a lobby where 4 of my managers, that I'm a manager also, that I, co-work with, that are white women, buy Trump hats from an old senior that just happened to stroll on by, happily buying Trump hats, saying, oh, I'll have 4. And I'm the one off to the side looking at them sideways like, what makes, where have we gone where as women, I'll take the race part out of it for now. As women, we've come to the point where we are okay with washing away what the fuck this ugly ass man has said. And I say that physically and internally. He is downright ugly.
Yeah, he ugly.
He ugly. And the shit he says makes it even fucking disgusting worse. How is that we forget that stuff, that ugliness? And we're okay just because he's gonna support, whatever kind of fucked up Christian values you have. There's no substitution, like I said, for people that are like this, that do harm to people on a daily basis, that don't give a shit about you. Let alone me, that won't do shit for you. There's no substitute for that. I will never, and the family and friends that we have, babe, and I know you know who I'm talking about, I love them. I will never fucking understand why it is okay. Never fucking understand why they think that would ever be okay, or why they think that, the other person was just so bad. Really? Bad to say grab him by the pussy? Bad to say Mexicans are murderers? Bad to say people in Ohio are eating their cats and dogs? And bad to say whatever the fuck you want to say about black people, women, everything? Really? Kamala was that bad? Comparatively? Bullshit. Like, you're fucking with me at that point. I can't take you seriously. I can't take you seriously. Especially if you're a woman. Especially, even shockingly, because I've ran into it here, if you're a black woman that votes for him. I've ran into a few, shockingly. It's disgusting. And none of this white supremacy shit never gets better if we vote for people like Donald Trump, if we keep this shit in cycle. And it's going to continue to be more and more fucking uncomfortable for y'all. Why? Because you still hang on to this shit. And you don't want to face it because you get your fifis hurt. I don't give a fuck about your feelings. Because for a long ass fucking time, you haven't given a fuck about mine, nor have you been in defense of me. When I would have to bring this to my manager's attention uncomfortably and nothing gets done. And I've had situations like that I won't go into detail of. But I've been a nurse long enough to experience a lot of bullshit that I have brought, respectively to my superiors, and nothing gets done. I have to ride with it because that's healthcare. It's fine. It's not fine. It's never fine. When I was director nursing at my previous job, and I had my like a couple of my coworkers come tell me things that older senior residents did to them or said to them, I went straight to those old fucking farts. And I was like, this is unacceptable. And I will find a way to get you out of this space. And I would go to my manager, my one other person above me, to tell her that I said that. Because I think it's clearly fucking unacceptable that as a nurse, a CNA, whatever level of medical you are, and I say this because I'm medical, you don't have to put up with that shit, let alone being a woman in a workplace putting up with that shit. From a patient, from a resident, from a coworker, unacceptable just because you have to deal with it because you're a nurse. Fuck you, if that is your mindset. No one should accept that. I'll calm down. But anyway, I'm glad I landed on this. I appreciate y'all for wanting to view this and listen to me be aggressive. But I
be
get
aggressive. Be aggressive.
I can giggle and I allow Oz to be more of the rage in all of this because it as many, I'm sure Jay has said it, Maya, I've heard her say it. You get tired to the point where Mikey and all them, you get tired to the point where you go through this personally yourself all the time and you have to constantly hear it again and again and again. It's not surprising to us. It's not a fucking surprise. So all I can do at the end of the day is laugh. Why? Because it's not new. It may be new to y'all. It's not new. That happened? Yeah.
Bitch, it's been happening.
It's been happening. And then once I finally want to let out my frustration, oh, now I'm an angry black woman. Oh, you're too aggressive. Why are you getting so upset? Why are you not? Why are you not upset enough to make the fucking change now? We didn't have to get as far as having another 4 fucking years with this asshole. Let alone even get him in fucking office in the first place. And he's not the only motherfucker that we have issues with. He's just at the top of the food chain right now in this country. So yeah, I'm angry. And I'm also done.
You ain't got to be done for me.
Well,
I'm over here clapping and applauding. Hey.
It's so done. You want to cry.
And Linda's, and I'm saying it on purpose. Listen, Linda's, it's okay to take a back seat.
Yeah, see, they said I was muted when you did that.
Okay, let me here. I'll
no,
fix
just
that.
Leave yourself there, please. It's fine. Just don't leave. I want you here. That's the point. You don't have to hide yourself.
I'm not hiding.
No, I know, but I'm making
Come
a
on
point.
now.
No. Don't take that way. I'm making the point. Like, don't hide yourself. Be in it. Thank you.
I'm in it.
I know you are, but I'm making the visual point. I'm making the visual point to make it stick. Be in it. I don't have to just solidly be on screen because, like she said, another level of white supremacy is the fact that it takes another white person to convey this shit to y'all.
Oh, I'm with it. I was doing that to be cute. I wasn't doing that to run away.
Trust me. No, that's why I said, like, I fully understand. I get it. I know I'm I'm not putting you in that basket, babe. Absolutely. Yeah, I want to cry and it sucks and it hurts. And it's even become more palpable. Like, I'm from California. I've only lived in Indiana for like close to 2 years in January. So it's become even more palpable being in a Midwest state that classically runs red or votes red to see this shit. To witness it in my workplace, to be it in my face when I'm driving, the fucking neighbor next to me, anyone. It's too close. Like, it's not to say California doesn't have this shit, but it's so close, even more so being in a different environment that, wow. I can see why my mom was fake scared for me to be out here. Like, for all the wrong reasons, mind you. Like, and if you ever know that story, I'm not going to go into it. My mom said disgusting shit about me moving here. I'm not going to go into that. But she said the real shit for all the wrong reasons, but it's real. Like, white people being disgusting towards women like me, or just black people, period, in Midwestern states, or for the record, for her being in the South. So
and don't let you be with a white man. Don't do it. Not in these parts.
Apparently, my dad's rolling in his grave right now.
Don't let you be shacking up. Yeah. Don't let you be shacking up with a white boy.
It's refreshing for those that get it, but at the same time don't. And if you know what I mean, you know what I mean. I think that's pretty much it, really. Good documentary. Yeah, I just gotta laugh now because.
And that's usually how we prefer to end the streams. It was on a lighter note.
On a high note.
And everybody get high. I just wanted to play this real quick because we were talking about how ugly someone was.
Okay, I'm a cheerleader now. U-G-L-Y, you ain't got no alibi, you ugly. Hey, you ugly. U-G-L-Y, you ain't got no alibi, you ugly. Hey, you ugly.
You're welcome. The DJ is always present.
I love it.
The DJ is always present to the live. As soon as we started talking about Trump being ugly, I was like, "Yep, U-G-L-Y," and that motherfucker ain't got no. You got supposedly billions of dollars, and you still that ugly, motherfucker. Learn how to spend your money. Learn how to spend your money.
Yeah.
Go talk to the Kardashians. They'll tell you.
But love y'all. Appreciate y'all, babe. To your credit, I will say you are an ally. I will reward you that because you, even on the smallest level, which is still as palpable, like I said, when you broke that shit down with your daughter yesterday, you are doing the work in that front because you're starting with your kids. And that is honestly, I feel like right now that's the best way. Like the generation after us, the children.
Yep.
Like they kept saying about our generation, kids are the future. Still the future.
Yep.
So yes, baby, you're an ally. And even with me, I hope to be rewarded being an ally for our gay trans community of people, our Hispanic friends, our people of friends that are not of us. Like I hope to do, and like I said, I don't do activist work. I don't do the street pumping stuff. I talk about it, even if it's between us, or even if I can set an example. I know I had to break that shit down for a coworker not too long ago about someone sounding like they were aggressive, but culturally, because she's, it left my mind. Culturally, because she has a deep, thick accent and English is her second language, she sounds like she's yelling at me, but she's not. She's trying in her best way of broken English to explain her feelings and explain something to you. And when I said that to that other coworker in front of her, she broke down crying because someone fucking understood her.
Yep.
I had to say that to another Black person that was hating on an Asian lady for sounding like she was yelling at her, to say she's not. She's trying in her best efforts to tell you what's wrong. And she broke down crying because someone finally fucking understood. So yeah, okay. Sorry.
You good, babe.
Woo!
You good.
Yeah. Anyway.
All the
Love
way
y'all.
good. All the way good. Yep. And yeah, we love y'all. And I put the link in the chat. You've been hanging out here for the night. You check it out here as we're closing out here the next 40 minutes or so. I'll be over on my channel doing the ipper thing, the DJ thing. So if you enjoy decent music, I'm okay. I just started like 2 days ago DJing. It's actually shit. It's the most terrible DJing you're ever gonna
awesome.
hear in your life. Probably. But I'll be doing that. I'll be doing that over there. But thanks for hanging out. We will
Part two.
have a part two. A part two of this. It is it's not optional. It's mandatory.
Mm-hmm.
It's mandatory. So we'll do it. And Jay, if you're still listening, let us know if you want to be a part of it. We'll get you links and everything. But thank you all for hanging out. And babe, thanks for having the conversation with. And thank you for finding and showing us all this documentary that was her thing. She found this and shared it, and I know y'all are. I'm grateful that she found it and we were able to share it. We will continue this conversation.
Got you, Jay.
So until next time, you have been viewing and watching Jena and Oz spilling all the tea out of the goddamn teacup.
Bye.
You are now rocking with DJ Oz Ozzy.